Well, let's continue following that developing and breaking news out of New York's LaGuardia Airport. You see that and the huge response. 2 killed, dozens more injured after this Air Canada Express plane crashed into a fire rescue truck late last night. In fact, the video shows the plane took some pretty significant damage. Look there right towards the front. The nose of that jet destroyed. At this point, LaGuardia remains closed at this hour at least until 2 p.m. Eastern. The stories coming from this tragedy are pretty harrowing. Here is what one witness saw and heard.
The pilot came on and said there's been an accident with an Air Canada and a fire truck. I looked to my right at my window. I saw some emergency vehicles approaching. I didn't see a plane yet, and I looked to my north a little further, and I could see a plane propped up. It looked like it was almost like lifting off, but it was stationary. We got a really good view of the plane missing the whole front nose.
Well, you know who has huge proximity to this accident? Tom Hanson. He is there at a very rainy LaGuardia Airport. Tom, the National Transportation Safety Board, they are on the scene. What are they investigating right now?
Yeah, well, they have actually recovered 2 black boxes from this plane. Those are going to be critical in piecing together exactly what happened here, the communication inside the cockpit, the speed at which the plane was traveling when it hit on a head-on collision with that emergency truck. Reed, I want to show you just what we're seeing behind us. You can still see that there are some personnel on the ground. There's an emergency responder truck right next to the site. And then do you see that truck that is toppled over? That is the one that was struck by this plane. Now, we are working to verify CCTV footage that we are seeing pop up on social media, which shows this plane going very fast and T-boning that truck, essentially going over the truck and then landing back on the runway. That appears to be what happened here. This was a violent crash. And so when you factor in the fact that basically all of the injuries that we are reporting out right now are broken bones and bruises, that is nothing short of a miracle based on what we are seeing with that footage. I want to give you one anecdote here. A flight attendant strapped to her seat fell through an opening in the severed aircraft. The flight attendant was found by rescuers still in the seat and was transported to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. But that should just give you a little bit of an example. She was strapped into her seat. The force was so great, it actually ejected her along with her seat through an opening in the aircraft. Very much a violent crash here. A lot of people very fortunate to be walking out of the hospital today, Reed. And I want to actually give you a sense of what happened at air traffic control as well. We have some audio we want to play for you for the frantic moments leading up to that fateful incident.
Frontier 4195, just stop there, please. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop.
And so you can see just how urgent that flight, that air traffic controller was trying to get the message across for that truck to stop. That truck was on its way to a United Airlines flight that had a separate report of an odor that it was going to assist in that. And then that's when this all happened, Reed. So just a tragic event that we saw watch in real time.
We understand Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy will be giving an update. And, you know, there's been this conversation, Tom, in our country about exhausted air traffic controllers. You know, they exist to make sure that things like this don't happen, that they indeed have control. Are you getting any sense of how many people were in the tower, maybe with eyes on this to avoid this?
That is a central focus of this investigation, Reed, and that is something we're going to be following very closely. It does appear to us that this singular air traffic controller who was communicating to the aircraft and to this emergency vehicle was juggling a lot. He was dealing with a lot. So we're going to be zeroing in on if he was the only person in the tower, how properly staffed the tower was. That is a central question that certainly needs to be answered. But to your point, Secretary Duffy has spoken extensively about the fact that air traffic controllers are very much strained because of staffing shortages, something that was made worse several months ago, as you may remember, when many of them walked off the job without pay. And these air traffic controllers, they take a long time to train. This is not something where you can just hire them and they start in a matter of a couple of weeks. This is something that's months of extensive training, a very critical role in all of the air travel around the country, Reed.
Some harrowing accounts learning about that flight attendant still strapped in her seat and that wreckage behind you. Tom Hanson, thank you so much for that update.